VDC, and welcome to the Prospect here in review. Second season in a row. We're getting so much better at this. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a great day and not just a good day. Today, we are here with Chairvic, Nibroc, and Dfitz. Not
Hello.
Dfizzle. Let's first squash that. Anyone calling him Dfizzle can come talk to me. But
Queen, I'm pretty sure you call me Dfizzle more than anybody else, just saying.
okay, I will do my best.
Fizzle.
It's not, it's Dfitz. But today we are going to be talking about the prospect here in Season 6, talk a little bit about not just Combines, the season, and Grand Finals, but what it was really like to play in the prospect here. So going into this, let's do a quick introduction of everyone, starting with Dfitz, then Chairvic, then Nibroc. Just talk a little bit about who you are, what org you were on, and a little bit, just a quick intro on maybe how long you've been playing Valorant.
Hello. I'm Dfitz. Been in LG since Season 2, because Ukalar refuses to let me leave. I've been playing Valorant since the beta, and I'm still trash. Yeah. Been on LG since day one. Love the org, and super happy to represent them.
Let's
go.
I'm Nibroc. I just joined this season. I've been playing since last October, so like about 9 months now. When I started Valorant, Valorant's my first shooter game, and yeah, I got drafted to OS, and I love it. The people there were great. I had an awesome team.
Hello, I'm Vic, also known as Chairvic, also known as Mr. Vic. I play for HT. This is my first season in EDC, Season 6. And I've been playing Valorant since the beta as well. And just like Dfitz, I too am still trash.
It just means you touch grass.
That's right.
Interesting point of view from these prospect players, but we love to see such excitement towards Valorant, surely, as well as touching grass, as you can see from Chairvic's picture. But going into this season, then, I want to hear a little bit about how you got into VDC, but also about Combines. So at the beginning of every season, you sign up on our brand spanking new beautiful website. And then you go into the Discord and you join a lobby. So can I hear a little bit about what your Combines experience was like? Would you say that the prospect here was pretty bumping every single night? Would you say that there were lots of games? What were these games like? And what did it give you the impression VDC was like?
I mean, I was very nervous the first time. I was joining a new org or a new circuit tournament, and I was like, didn't know anyone. I never played like something like this, so I was just nervous to play with other people, meet them. A lot of people didn't seem to know each other, so it was kind of just a mixed bag with what you got on prospect or on the combines. But it was good. Once you kind of got the ball rolling, it was actually so much fun.
I was a little bit nervous going into combines for the first time, but I had played Premiere with a couple of VDC people previously, and so they kind of like guided me through it, and they're like, "Oh, you'll be fine. Just go in, have fun, be yourself." And after like the first game, it's pretty clear that everybody's there just to have fun and learn and get better. And um, I think I played every single night of combines. Um,
I don't think I quite
that
did that much. I think I tried to hit
yeah,
most of them, but
that was a lot. That definitely was a lot. But it
I
was
guess
it was super fun. It's just like basically like pick up basketball for Valorant, and you just like hop in, play 10 mans, play some more 10 mans, and it's just like super vibey, really fun.
I was definitely more nervous than I had to be because how I got into it is some guy just invited me into it to be in a voice call to play with him. I just met randomly on Valorant, and then I was like, yeah, maybe I'll try it. And so I didn't know how serious it was, how competitive people were gonna be, how for
Mhm.
fun it was, and so I was like kind of nervous to try and do well.
Yeah, I had a pretty interesting start to Combines this season in particular. I started playing Apprentice Combines and then some typical VDC shenanigans had me go back down to Prospect, which I love Prospect. Been there for what feels like years at this point, but I will say, just from the difference in, no offense to you, apprentice players, apprentice to prospect combines, it definitely seemed like while people were trying, the prospect players tended to have a lot more fun while doing it. Which at this point, it's a little different for newer players or people that are looking to prospectively move franchises or teams. But like I said before, Uklar will not let me go anywhere. Someone, admins, please help. And yeah, I've always loved combines. It's a really relaxed yet competitive time of playing Valorant, which is super fun.
Actually, speaking of that, this was a new season for you, Dfitz, into this season because you just became AGM for the very first time. So, can you talk a little bit about what that transition was like for you, if there was any? Because I know you've also been a captain for the last couple of seasons as well. So, I know that could look different for you. But in the Combines process, what did it look like for you as an AGM versus when you were a player or a captain?
Even maybe not so much as player to AGM, but even captain to AGM, knowing that I had more of a hand in determining kind of how we ended up prospect team wise, which Uklar, for the most part, kind of gave me free reign of the tier so that him and Alf could handle everything else. I found myself infinitely less concerned with how I was playing and more so focusing on watching how other people played, whether that be my teammates or the team that we were playing against. So definitely much more being a player and just a captain before, I was always much more concerned, as bad as it sounds, like with my own performance. I wanted to show that I deserved to be on the team still. But this season, I was like, whether I'm a playing or non playing AGM, I'm much more focused on watching everybody else as much as I can and using that to help LG have a good prospect team.
How LG have a good prospect team? Interesting. I was gonna say, Chairvic and Nibroc, going into this for the first time, did you see yourself gravitating towards certain people in combines as well that you were kind of hoping to be on teams with, or because you guys are both new, you're getting reintroduced to what VDC is for the first time? Did you find a lot of GMs, AGMs being in calls with you as well, introducing yourself, things like that?
I had nobody reach out to me. I didn't know, one person did. I don't remember who it was. It was some AGM. They were just lightly just like asked my name pretty much and what I played, and nobody else did. I reached out to a couple GMs like a week before drafts or something, kind of last minute, just because I didn't realize I was supposed to.
Yeah, and like personally, I had like one or two teams reach out to me, but like I reached out to, a number of GMs and AGMs, and had conversations here and there. And I think Sammy, the GM of High Tide, invited me to play in like a 10-man.
I forgot that they did that. That was so nice. You see a little bit of community in Prospect. But then I think that's the perfect segue into the draft and kind of what the draft was for everybody. Obviously, this does look very different for Dfitz than it does for the rest of us. So let's maybe talk about it from the player perspective first.
When the draft was happening, I think I was in a call with Vic and some other people, if I remember right. We were watch partying it together. I was so like not prepared for my name to get read that I didn't even realize what org I got to. I just saw my name get pulled off rip, and I was like, "What? Where did I go? Where did I get called to?" And that was kind of crazy. Everyone was kind of going off there.
But yeah, as far as like the draft goes, I for me, like Nibroc said, we were just like chilling in a call. I didn't really expect myself to go in like first round. Um, but it was like really cool to watch myself get picked and then kind of like see, like, okay, who else is going to be on this team?
Going to you, Dfitz.
Draft is definitely a little more involved when you're an AGM. I will say, much like Nibroc and Vic, my seasons when I was a player and a captain, we would normally hang out in a VC, play golf with your friends, a bunch of other silly games as we kind of celebrated everybody else getting drafted to LG. This season it was different. Constantly going over spreadsheets with Uklar in case our first five. There were, for a couple different tiers, we had like 8 picks lined out in case our first 7 got drafted that we were looking at.
Did any of your top 7 get stolen then? Get drafted before you got them?
Not in Prospect, but in a different tier, we ended up having to default to our 4th pick for one of them. 3 of the ones we wanted beforehand got taken. But that's why we plan ahead and have 7 or 8 picks for each pick we have. But overall, I was really happy with it. It was fun to see getting everybody new into the server and watching them interact with the older or more tenured LG players. So it was good.
So then, what did the first half of the season look like for you? Would you say that your roster tended to stay pretty similar? Was it getting to know everybody and their agent pool and what that looked like? Or would you say that preseason was the majority of the time where you were able to deal with that and you kind of just went, for lack of a better term, you just kind of hit the ground running?
I'll kind of lead this one off because it's a big shift from pretty much every other season I've played in VDC. We kind of, at least for Prospect, we went with the idea that we were going to draft more role-specific people this season. And by the time draft was over, Uklar was like, hey, looking like you're going to be our duelist for this season. And I could go back in my DMs, and I'm pretty sure the first thing I said was, huh? Question mark?
Oh.
Are you sure that's a good idea? And he was like, trust. But props to people that play Duelist all the time. I'd rather sit in my own smoke as Omen or something and be a silly little guy. And I didn't
Duelist
really...
ain't for me either. Yeah, our first half of our season was a little more less concrete than it was towards the end, mostly because Kisei, or Miss All Sunday, had got injured on his hand, couldn't play for a few match days, as well as I had to be gone the very first match day, and we were still trying to figure out roles as well for people, so we were just having subs in and out.
As far as like preseason and the beginning of our season goes, preseason was awesome for our team. We had some really, really cool players like Sellout, Itchy, a couple other really key people that played a big role in our preseason. But when it came time to start playing in the normal season, we had some schedule conflicts that came up last minute, and we had to make some very last minute roster changes. So we went into the first match day um, with a team that had never played together before, except for I think 3 of us. It was pretty, I don't want to say crazy at the beginning, but we definitely had a lot of quick changes that were unexpected.
A lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, for sure. So, with it being volatile like that, you just have to like keep your head up and, and know that if you get the team together and you start working as a team and, get a couple practice days under you, you'll start turning things around.
I mean, you guys were vibe central, I feel like. Your team had the we're not going to get discouraged, I think, by anything.
Yeah, I think for the most part we did. There was a couple times when like we were really, really down and it was really tough. And those are the moments when you kind of have to call a timeout and reset everybody's mental and be like, okay.
So I would love to hear about the end of the season for you, not playoffs, but specifically talking about the last couple of match days, the seeding, how it turned out for you and your team, and how you ended your season.
So the second half of our season, we started our season 0-8, by the way. In the second half of the season, especially the last 3 match days, um, we had made a roster change on, like, I think match day, or it was like match day 10 or so. Um, and we had swapped out somebody for, somebody who fit the better role. Um, and our team, like, really, really started to gel super well together. And I felt like, we just kind of like took that momentum and rode it pretty much all the way to third place.
I mean, OS was pretty comfortable in their seating towards the end. We were trying to decide, or we were struggling with the idea of either going for the record break or treating the last few days as like different. I was trying to learn different comps maybe because we were kind of one trick a little bit on most of our maps. We were trying to be like, hey, maybe we could practice some other things on the last few match days.
Yeah. Towards the end of the season, I overall we had a pretty good regular season. Couple match nights that we wish we had done better on, but yeah, the end of the season was good for us. Got our spot in playoffs, and then at that point, really, that's all everybody on LG was kind of focused on was, all right, it's gonna be playoff time soon. Let's start gearing up for that and do what we can to take down those stinky OS players.
So maybe for the people who made playoffs, talk a little bit about your experience in playoffs, winning, losing, whatever it may be. Talk about maybe some highlights, and then we'll go into the kind of end phase of this tier and review.
I mean, I think part of the fun, especially even during regular season, but especially towards playoffs, is trying to strat around the other teams because you've seen them play the whole season. You've played against them. You're watching streamed games of them, trying to figure out how they play. And honestly, that was kind of fun. It was fun to do just with your team, just hang out together, trying to strategize together, come up with plays, and just a lot of fun to hang out with.
Playoffs for High Tide was honestly pretty stressful. We had one of our players who was kind of key in like helping me call, and like played a pretty big role in our team. He had some major life events happen, and so he couldn't play in our playoff games. And we didn't really have a lot of time to, like practice as a team or anything like that before we went in. So we kind of just went in and, did our best with what we had. Just kind of tried to vibe our way through it. Definitely pretty tough. But like our team had a super good run up until that point. Um, and we also had a 20-minute tech pause
Yes,
in our
we did.
game.
Hey,
Yeah,
We did.
it's not a
yeah,
VDC
and
game without a tech pause.
that's right. That's right. One
Throws
of
me
our
off when there's
players,
not one there.
overall, you know, playoffs were really fun, pretty stressful, but I wouldn't change anything, and I'd do it all over again.
Yeah, I will say, being the team that played HT in the semifinals. Oh man. Uh, First off, I won't lie. We were thrown off by anxiety DCing.
Hmm.
Yeah, we were really thrown off by that. And then, right as someone on our team was like, I think they were DCing, we see the tech pause. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And we're like, it's a tech pause. Give it a couple minutes. 5 minutes goes by. 10 minutes goes by. 15 minutes goes by. And we were like, really? None of us on our team, like, we were hoping he comes back because I love the rest of my team, and, like, none of us wanted to win a playoff game either by a forfeit or by winning a 5v4. Like, we were sitting there, like, can't please, anxiety, come back.
I was just saying, we've had the same scenarios when we were hoping the other team, they were trying to find emergency subs, trying to give them some extra time, not like trying to. We wanted to play them at their full string.
But no, that sounds like a very, at least between the High Tide LG, like 13-11 is 100% respectable and so well fought out between both sides, because you could tell, like, that's a nail biter, right? That's so close. It literally could have gone anybody's way, or it could have even gone into OT, because these types of things definitely could have dragged on. So thank you for speaking a little bit on that here. And then I guess if no one else has anything else to say about playoffs, we go straight to the GF Grand Finals. Wow.
Let's go.
What a match. I would ask, instead of commenting on how your teams felt and everything, tell me three highlights from the match for on the side of LG and on the side of OS. What were three highlights of things that you were really proud of your team for doing during that time? And I'll give you some time to think about it.
Oh, I already know my three. Honestly, just the fact, like, we knew OS was going to be the hardest match we've had so far this season. We'd played them twice already. Had taken a map off them once out of those two showings. And, like, I will say, and hopefully Nibroc agrees, we were one of the few teams that consistently took them to longer rounds than other teams. We definitely, like, weren't going to just let OS, we don't talk about Icebox, kind of roll over us for the most part. And so that was kind of our big mentality going in there. And I know map 1... we could have and should have won, but once again, we took that map deep into the map, and I think that gave us a lot of confidence going into map 2 that we can win rounds off these guys if we were like that was at one point. Zoo, who's not normally a big talker, was just like, guys, we can take rounds off these guys. If we take enough rounds, we win the game. And it was like, you know what, Zoo? If you know what, you're right. You're right, Zoo. And so, like, that was kind of our mentality going into map 2. I will say, like, one of the three things is just once again taking at least a map off of OS. That I think, if anything, that just speaks to their dominance this season. Like, when you're happy about just taking a map off of a team, like, that's a really good team.
Yeah, I think probably some of our biggest high moments was we knew Lotus was going to be a contentious map for us. It's probably one of our best maps for both LG and OS. I would agree, if you'd agree.
Yeah.
There, Dfitz. You've given us the most trouble on it. I think we went to like triple overtime on our first match against you on it.
Correct.
It was very close this time during grand finals as well. We kept our perfect score on Lotus. We never lost a map on Lotus.
You did.
But we were very, very, like, excited to win that first map. That first map, we were not quite 100% sure we were going to win. We knew it was kind of going to be kind of close, more of a decider map, but we felt confident on it, and we did end up pulling through. Split, your guys' pick, we knew was not our strongest map. I'm sure you guys knew that. I'm sure you guys stratted for that. But we were down bad. I think we were like 4 rounds on like the half. We had like 4 rounds and a half on defense. We were feeling pretty bad, but we were feeling the momentum. We brought it back to 10-13, and even that on split, we were like very proud of that against LG. We were like, 10 rounds, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And even after that, I was really proud of our team because some of us were really struggling on split, and we had just lost it, and we were just talking afterwards, and I was like, "Hey, is everyone good? Does everyone need a breather? Like, are we any problems?" And everyone was like, "No, we're great. We're having a good time." And I was just proud of my team for that. I was like, "Wow, let's go, let's go. We're no mental is torn down. We're still in this." And it showed. Next maps, 13-2, 13-4. Close it out.
Close it out, indeed, is what happened with OS winning it all in a surprising turn of events for some, with OS cheering them on. I'm sure there was a crazy watch party happening that night in the OS server. Surely in the LG server as well, actually. I see Dfitz shaking his head.
I was gonna say, I for people that don't know, the same night OS and LG expert teams were supposed to play, and both teams mutually agreed to reschedule their match so that they could watch us play our grand finals.
That was
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's super cool.
That's so
It was
cool.
very fun. After final match ended, we all stormed in there before they had seen what had happened, because the stream delay, and they're like, "No, spoilers." We're all like, we got you.
We got you. But no, that also is so exciting to see that there are franchises that are so supportive of their teams, regardless of the tier, but also that they're willing to change their matches so that they can support you. It affects their season, and yet here they are in support of you as well. So that's exciting to hear that that's what happened, and then that's kind of how the season ended. So then, kind of going into segueing to the end of this tier review, I only have 2 questions left, y'all. 2 questions left, and then I'll leave it to a little bit of an open floor. For the last 2 questions I have, number 1 was the MVP of the season decided by numbers, but also this is the first season in a long time we've had community voting. Shout out to the numbers team. I know that Curbs Morning, Terror Kid, all of them had a very big say in that. So I'd like to hear about your perspective on it, the results, and then also talk a little bit about what you're thinking for next season. Are you going to stay in VDC? Talk a little bit about what your hopes and dreams maybe could be for next season. Are you looking to apply to staff roles? I'd love to hear it all.
Oh yeah, MVP Ash. I mean, definitely deserved. It was crazy. Was doing heck of numbers, dropping 30 every game.
Ash is nuts.
He was crazy. He was good. He was definitely my number 2. I think. I still think I would have put Zeker, I think, as my number 1 for MVP. Not to say Ash is bad. I just think Zeker is very flexible. He plays a really mean support role, and he still frags out as well. He's got my heart for MVP.
Not to mention, by far the most clutches out of anyone. Just from LG's experience, the amount of times straight up he 1v3'd or 1v2'd to clutch a round is probably at least 7 or 8 rounds. By himself, just locked it in, and it was like, okay.
Amen.
Yep. He's just built different. Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact stats, but I'm pretty sure he had the second place. I think it was me, second place in clutches. He had 50% more than me in clutches, which is an insane amount.
I've been playing games with Zeker for a very long time. He's a pretty close personal friend of mine, and he played Call of Duty competitively. He played a lot of CS:GO, so he just has the brain, for competitive shooters. And I think those stats really show that, where it's once he gets into a situation like that, he just stays calm and he just plays his game. And it's super cool. I think the community voting was super awesome. I thought that was really, really cool.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, just to take some time and be like, hey, this person really stood out to me. Nibroc, honestly, one of the best players in Prospect.
Thank you.
Yep, and it was cool to, vote on some of those things, and just kind of see it largely, more of the community aspect.
Still a crime that random kid did not qualify for
I
most
know.
improved.
I think he was like 2 or 3 games off to being able
The
to
threshold,
qualify.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there were
Yeah,
definitely
but
some that definitely made sense to get. Thornley, I mean, he is by far the most undervalued player. His MMR was way too low for how good he was.
mhm.
Hashtag blame Spence. Yeah, I
I
agree.
Yeah,
don't think Spence had
another
any say
Spence
in that.
conspiracy.
But another Spence conspiracy.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say I've said it in prospect chat for people that don't have access to that. I don't know what kind of deal Spence has struck with whatever higher power is out there, but his ability to put together absolutely smacking prospect teams season to season is kind of sus. That's all I'm saying. It's a little sus.
But then going into it, are there any other final notes that y'all have that you would love to share with YouTube, the prospect tier, any potential new players about prospect this season, playing in VDC and such else?
New players, you should join. It's fun. There's no pressure. And if you don't get drafted, stay around. There's lots of people who'll play with you. You'll get sub matches all the time. Stick
Mhm.
around. Play. You'll be part of the community.
And just from my experience, like to add on to that, any new player that like is wanting to get better at Valorant and like maybe they're a comp grinder and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but you will not realize how much better at the game you'll get in such a shorter amount of time playing with a consistent group of people. And you might think like, well then if I go and play comp I'm not with my team and that's different, but like playing with a group of 5 and playing slightly more structured will just help you look at the game, even when you're solo queuing comp, a completely different way. And the amount of people I've seen come into Prospect, not that I was a high rank, but being noticeably a lower rank than I was, and now they're Diamond 1. Julian went from like Silver 3 to Ascendant 1 in like 3 months. But yeah, I'm back. Yeah, it just this league will help you grow so much as a Valorant player, and whether you only play it for a season and then you're done, like if you're wanting to get better, a league like VDC is a great way to do that.
Yeah, just like don't be afraid to join the league and just meet some new people. You're gonna make some new friends. You're gonna come in, have a good time. Like Dfitz said, you're gonna improve vastly. We were talking about some players that did improve vastly, and it's cool, you know, to watch that process happen. Um, I would also say, yeah, just like I I think actually no, that's it. That's it. Yeah, just like
That's
don't be
it.
afraid to come in here, come in, have fun. Just don't be afraid to have a good time.
You're afraid to have a good time.
Because we have a
That's right.
great time in Prospect.
Prospect is
The
vibe
other
city.
tiers are boring. Prospect is where it's at.
That's right. We are vibe city.
As a previous prospect player, I can say that the positive vibes are in prospect here for sure. And with that said, thank you all for watching up until this far. Thank you to all of the players for being willing to take literally hours of their time to be able to sit here, talk about their season, tell us about the good, the bad, and the positive vibes, but also to just talk a little bit about VDC and what we're all about. That is going to be Queenbee and the socials team signing off for the night. This is the end of the Prospect here in review. We hope to see you all in season 7. Season
Thank you guys.
7.
See you.
Bye,
Let's go.
everybody.
Woo!